good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here this morning. I got a couple of big NHL stories. The Washington Capitals have pulled back within one game of the Columbus Blue Jackets after a 3-2 double overtime victory last night. And the Las Vegas Golden Knights are moving on with a 4-game sweep over the LA Kings. I don't know how they did it, but the Golden Knights swept the LA Kings last night. I'll get to that in a second, but first thing is first. The Columbus Blue Jackets lost a double overtime thriller last night to the Washington Capitals 3-2 in double overtime. Lars Eller had the game winner in double OT. Tim Wilson and John Carlson of the Capitals each had 1 goal. Brandon Holtby had 33 saves in that game for the Capitals last night. There were a couple big factors in that game. The Blue Jackets fell behind. They just couldn't catch up last night to the Capitals, and Washington beat them and they beat them. That's all there was to it. But there was also something else that stuck out in that game. The Capitals had a 5-on-3 two-man advantage after the Blue Jackets had an earlier after the Capitals got an earlier power play, and then all of a sudden they wound up with a two-man advantage because the Blue Jackets had too many men on the ice. A lot of people are saying that the officials cost the Blue Jackets the game. That remains to be seen. I don't know about that, but you can't deny it. That 5-on-3 when the Blue Jackets got called for that too many men on the ice call, you can't debate it. However, I think the Blue Jackets are still in good shape. They're up 2-1. If they can win Game 4 on Thursday, I think the Blue Jackets have a chance. They can win it. They can clinch it. But if the Washington Capitals win Game 4 on Thursday night, they may win the whole series because I don't see the Blue Jackets coming back from this. Because if the Blue Jackets can go back to Washington up 3-1, CBJ has a chance. But if the Capitals win Game 4 on Thursday and the series is tied up at 2 games apiece, the Capitals might as well. Washington's going to move on because I don't think Columbus is going to recover from this. But they need to do what they need to do. But you got to give credit to Sergei Bobrovsky. He had 42 saves in that game. Pierre LeBuc, he had 1 goal and Artemi Paranin. So, the Blue Jackets lost last night, but I think they're still in good shape. If they can win Game 4 on Thursday, they've got it. Because they'll be up 3-1, and they're going to be going back up to Washington. And the Washington Capitals, if they're down 3-1, they'll have to win 3 in a row. And I mean as in win 1 in D.C., then they got to go back to Columbus for Game 6 if it goes that far. Then they'll have Game 7 in D.C. if it goes all the way. Keep that in mind. But I'm telling you now, Columbus, you can recover from this. I've seen you guys do this many times. You guys. I think I've said this before. I think it was going to go 5 games. A 4-game sweep. It would have been nice. But I will say this: the Washington Capitals are a tough team. They got Ovechkin, T.J. Oshie. And, of course, they got Tim Wilson, John Carlson. They can do some damage. And the bottom line is, CBJ, the Blue Jackets still have a chance if they win Game 4. However, watch Game 4, and you'll get an idea who wins the series. If the Blue Jackets win Game 4, they're moving on. If the Capitals win Game 4, they're going to be in for a dogfight, and I think the Capitals are going to take it. That's just my opinion. Now, what about the Las Vegas Golden Knights? The expansion team. The first-year expansion team is moving on to the next round. They're moving on to the Western Conference semifinals. Opponent to be determined. Keep that in mind. What can you say about the Golden Knights? They swept the LA Kings, and this was only because of a 1-0 victory in Game 4. Brandon McNable, he only had the only goal of the game with an assist from Riley Smith and William Karlsson. But what can you say? Marc-Andre Fleury, the former Pittsburgh Penguin, 31 saves, no goals allowed. Jonathan Quick, the former Chicago Blackhawk, 20 saves, 1 goal allowed. And that 1-0 victory and that 1-0 Vegas win held up. Unbelievable. His shots on goal for the game. Vegas had 21. Los Angeles, the LA Kings, they had 31. How incredible. The Vegas Golden Knights are moving on. Could they take the whole thing? Only time will tell that. I think, now if my memory serves me correctly, and I may be wrong, the Vegas Golden Knights get the winner of the Colorado-Nashville series, if my memory serves me correctly. But I will say this. The Vegas Golden Knights are moving on to the Western Conference semifinals. The expansion team. Could you imagine the celebration if they win the whole thing? I'm thinking about that. How fun would that be to see that happen? But if they were but the player of the game, no doubt in my mind, Marc-Andre Fleury. 31 saves. There's my player of the game right there. And I want to take back every single derogatory thing I said about Mr. Marc-Andre Fleury. Mr. Fleury, I want to apologize to you for the way I dogged you when you were in Pittsburgh. I take back everything I said about you being a Sidney Crosby butt kisser. Hey, I still hate Crosby. It's a Columbus-Pittsburgh thing. That's all I got to say. But once again, in short, back to the Blue Jackets and the Capitals. Watch Game 4 Thursday night. If the Blue Jackets beat the Capitals, they're going to move on. If the Capitals win on Thursday, it's going to be a six game battle, or possibly go down to a seventh and decider. And I don't think nobody in Columbus wants that at all, because I don't think anybody in that team has never been in a 7-game series. So I'm a little bit worried. So Thursday's game will decide how the series goes, and that's just my opinion. But as far as the Vegas Golden Knights, the expansion team, my congratulations to you guys. You're moving on to the second round. I think you get the winner. I'm not sure who you get, but enjoy it. Kick back, relax, and wait and see what happens, because you guys have earned it. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys for coming in this morning, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Scott Manning. Just my name. Just scroll down, look for my pretty face, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done. I want to thank you guys. You guys have a great day. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you.